Reserve time.
We have a game! Finally! Oh boy, it's been a long wait. I do apologize, guys. So for those who missed it, we waited for like a solid two hours for Titan versus Execration, and then right when we were about to join the game, or right when it was about to load, I was like, you know what? It's been 2 hours. This is not happening. Left the game. It's time for Scythe versus Orange. And then immediately, the 11th load or something like that was the charm. That game is going on. If you want to watch it, twitch.tv/MineskiTV. I think Game 2 is well underway at this point. But over here at Beyond the Summit, we are going to be casting Orange versus Scythe. The new Orange, and my first time casting them, as well as my first time casting Scythe, although in some ways they're basically first departure with a few minor changes. But with that being said, the old first departure. So with that being said, let's hop ourselves inside the draft. This is game 1 of a best of 3. And on that note, here we go. So it's the ACG SEA Best of the Best. Scythe SG versus Orange Esports. Used to be Malaysia's pride. Now they are Southeast Asia's pride, or one of them anyway. They're a mix of some Singaporean new blood and some old school Malaysian players. So, well, with that being said, I believe we should go over just kind of how these teams have been doing lately, because frankly, I was surprised. I've been very surprised by some of the recent results in Southeast Asia. And I think the biggest story is that Titan just has been underwhelming lately. You look at a team, sure, no Mushi, but still 4 International 3 caliber players, 4 top 3 finishers, almost beat Navi to get to the grand finals. And boy, Titan has had an up and down stretch of it. Scythe, Orange have all taken games off of them. Orange actually beat them 2-1 in their last series. And if you look at Scythe, they've been neck and neck with Orange. They took Orange down in their last meeting. I believe that was also 2-1. Yeah, 2-1. Scythe beat Orange, and then Orange recently beat Titan. So Southeast Asia, there is no clear top dog right now among these teams. Orange, Scythe, and even teams like Mineski in the past have shown us some promising performances. Hell, we saw Execration take a game off of Titan just today. So Southeast Asia is in a complete state of disarray. And on that note, looks like I need to log out of Steam Friends. Sorry about that. But yeah, so Orange Esports coming into this match with a very new roster. It's not the old Orange. It's not MUFC. Sharky and Winter are reunited here, but we've got some new players in Ysera as well as Insidious C, new to playing with Orange anyway, relatively recent additions, and it seems like the fresh blood, the infusion has made a difference. So, well, on that note, we get introduced to the draft now. Scythe had the first pick. They went for a Clockwork after banning out Enchantress and Nyx. As for Orange, they ban out the Flavor of the Month Carry, Ember Spirit, and the Elder Titan, and they reply with a Bat Rider into an Invoker almost immediately. As for Scythe, Bane is the follow-up, so they've got Sleep into Cogs. They've got a great support to deal with Bat Rider Initiation. If he jumps in, you can just grip him. You can sleep him as well. They then proceed to ban out some carries on Orange, and these are some miracle bans here. Don't want to get ratted. No Naga, no Morphling. But there's still an Anti-Mage out there. There's still some other strong rat-oriented carries. We've seen the Miracle Prophet in the past. Maybe something they think about for this particular series. And we'll just have to wait and see. So to be totally honest with you guys, I have not cast these teams much lately. And I've only gotten to catch just little glimpses of games here and there. So I will not know the teams or how they're playing currently that well. Bear with me. I'm getting back up to speed after a fairly long break from casting and watching constantly. But we'll get there. So hope you don't mind. Bear with me while we make some improvements. But Morana will be the choice for Scythe SG. So they pick up a good partner for Bane as well as Clockwork. Great ganking lineup. Good initiation, and a pretty versatile draft so far. Lots of ways for them to lane this. We expect the offlane Clock, probably a support Mirana or safe lane Mirana. Doubt we'll see it go solo mid, but it's definitely a possibility. So, well, with that being said, well, what does Orange need here? They've got one support on the Visage, probably going to see the offlane Bat, Invoker solo mid, so they'll be looking for their hard carry, and they'll also be looking for a secondary support. Probably someone with a setup. A Crystal Maiden's an option as well. Chen's out there still, if they want to run a jungler. And looking at some of Orange's recent games, let's see. When they played Titan, Orange was running Alchemist support for Ysera. Or no, sorry, that was a solo mid Alch. They were running Windrunner was one of their supports. Sharkies played Crystal Maiden. They've played a Earthshaker in the past, but it will in fact be a Chen. So they get the Chen Visage that I suggested. And now as for Scythe, we're going to find out soon if this is a support Mirana or not. It's a possibility, but support Mirana does seem like a kind of hit or miss type of support. They'll go TA instead, so they go for a really greedy tempo controller mid, and also they go TA against Batrider. Normally Batrider is not a hero you want to match up TA with. Firefly almost instantly removes your refraction charges. On top of that, you can flame break him out of meld. It's just a very difficult matchup for TA in general, whether you're in lane against him or not, but Scythe will go for it anyway. So they'll get the TA versus Invoker lane if it is in fact a solo mid Invoker, and that lane is really good for TA. But if they want to switch things up here, maybe Orange looks to change the lanes up a bit, run the Invoker potentially safe lane, bat mid, and pick more of like a mid-game oriented offlaner. Profits out there as well. So we'll have to see. I feel like Orange could punish this TA mid, but only time will tell, I suppose. As for Scythe, if it is a support Mirana, then they'll need a safe lane farmer, and there's a couple. Their lineup's very gank oriented right now. Pretty single target heavy. Not great at taking team fights, and definitely not as good as Orange in that department. So I think something like a Gyro would not be the way to go here, but potentially we see a Luna. Luna's still available. Can split push pretty effectively and stall the game while you get your 3-course farm. If they want to run a farming Mirana safe lane, then which would kind of be the safer choice, then they need just a reliable support hero here. So Twin-Headed Dragon's an option if they want to run something a little bit off the beaten path. Earthshaker, it wouldn't be a bad way to go. They already have a dual core, and that pretty much helps to deal with the Bat, but Bat being just really good at locking down your one carry. But we'll see. Orange now working on their final pick of the draft. And we're going to get into it. So after a 2.5-hour break, getting our mojo back here, getting ready to cast a game. Finally. And for those who are wanting, PPD could not stay with me. He had to go to sleep. He's got games to play tomorrow, practice with the team. But he's a trooper for staying up for 3 hours for one game of Dota. I miss casting Southeast Asian Dota, but as I was telling Lysander, I do not miss the delays and technical issues that often seem to plague these matches. But so far, everything looking good. Orange, one final pick. Looking for their carry. Luna's out there. Synergized well with the Chen. I think Luna's a pretty strong choice. Outside of Luna, Scythe has pretty good lockdown with the Bane, so I don't think we'll see anything like a Storm. They banned the Weaver, which Orange maybe would have considered otherwise. Let's see, what houses Orange been picking? They've been running Slark occasionally, but Slark is banned, so I'm just going to start going through some matches here, see if anything jumps out at me while I wait for the final pick. Let's see. OD, that would be their safe laner. To be honest, I think Luna's the hero that you want to go for here. As for Scythe, I'm just curious if it's a support Mirana, to be totally honest. That's really what's tickling my brain. And, well, they're actually going to go Gyro. I don't know. I think Luna would have been the better choice here. Synergized really well with the Chen and the Visage. Just a great death ball carry. Gyro's not bad at that, but the Luna just offers you a lot more versatility. Can farm really well, can fight a lot, can push earlier and harder. The Gyro against TA as well, and Bane. Not to mention Clock. All three of these heroes can punish BKB carries fairly effectively, especially the Bane and the TA. And if TA gets farmed enough, Gyro is not going to stand against her. So we'll have to see how the laning stage works out for Orange, but I would have liked to see a Luna personally. And as the draft is almost done, we'll switch our overlay over. So, will it be support Mirana? That's the main question at this point. Looking at Scythe's draft, if they want to go aggressive, it would just be a Gyro Visage. I imagine what we're going to see, though, is just an off-lane Clockwork, solo mid TA, and then the Bane Mirana, or the Bane +1 roaming quite a bit. Mirana doesn't do too bad against Bat after... If you just give her some support the first level or two, well, not the first level or two, like the first 2 or 3 minutes, then you can roam with the Bane +1, and Mirana should be able to hold her own once she has, say, phase boots or Boots, Reign of Aquila, and the Bats out of regen. So
Scythe
Scythe can look to roam a lot early, and with an Invoker mid, that would be a pretty good idea. And they'll go Slardar here. So it is going to be that support Mirana, off-lane clock, and Slardar TA, mass minus armor, mass semi-counter to BKB, I guess you could say, with amplify damage, meld, a lot of right-click, Fiend's Grip, hook shot, a lot of ways to lock this gyro down and just look to blow him up in the team fights. Can they secure the fast blink for the Slardar? That will be the key. I hear somebody laughing. Slardar is taunting me from beyond the grave. Or from before his birth, I guess, since we're not into the game just yet. But it's time at long last for Dota, the Asian Cyber Games Invitational, best of the best. This is Group C action. We're still in the round robin. We'll be there for the next 3 weeks. And if you didn't already know, Lysander is also streaming on Beyond the Summit too.
10 seconds.
Are you laughing at me? What the hell, Poloson? What a jerk. Laughing at me. Just kidding. But yeah, here we go. So it's game 1 of the best of 3 RNG Sports versus Scythe. I was looking forward to HYHY, but then someone was kindly informed me that he doesn't actually play for them. So Winter's going to be playing your Bat Rider. We'll have Ysera handling the solo mid Invoker. Sharky on that support Visage. Insidious C, the Chen. And it does leave SXOCXS as your Gyrocopter. And then on the Radiant side, we've got Scythe SG, your Singaporean challengers, who have actually been looking pretty strong lately. Did take down Orange recently, 2-1. We have Hana playing the Clockwork. Aeon, the stand-in on the Mirana. Scythe, Zenith going to be handling the Bane. Miracle going solo mid as the TA. So really like that Arteezy style of, more farming-oriented, carry type of solo. And then last but not least, Poloson going to be playing the Slardar, heading to the safe lane. And, well, he'll need some help here. Not going to have too much fun against Winter by himself. And for those who are wondering, Winter does play off lane for Orange now, no longer playing support. So, reprising the role that he played at TI2, and saw a lot of Tidehunter out of him there. I think that's the one hero that I remember more than anything. It's quite a few Winter Tidehunter games from TI2. But good to see him back in the saddle, and let's see what happens. We have a pause. We'll have a resume. And we're back into it. So, offlane clock against a Gyro Chen Visage. Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to get too aggressive against Gyro, but he could just sit back, hog the creeps, get some experience. And Clockwork's definitely one of the better offlaners to draw the creep aggro back if they're trying to push. Just rocket the wave, and when you're relatively close to them. So, Hana should have a pretty good time of it top. I think he should get a lot of experience early. As for the offlane Bat Rider, I think he should do really well. Both teams, if he's against the Slardar at least, should have a really good time of it too. So, expect both offlaners to have a strong start. Mid lane, you should give the edge to the TA without assuming no supports roam in. So that lane generally would go the way of Scythe. And then it's really down to the supports. The Bane Mirana, very strong ganking duo. And the Chen Visage, okay, not really great at it. Early on, there's a pretty good defensive ward placed by Winter. Wants to see if the Bane's coming in to try and set up an... or if the Mirana's lurking in the trees to set up an arrow. As you can see, this gives quite a bit of vision, actually. Almost all the way up to the tree line. Both teams have a top rune ward, and the rune will spawn bottom. Quickly denied by Winter. And so in the end, it settles into just a Bane Slardar. Sleep into Stomp, or Crush, definitely strong. We'll see if they look to stick with it. And already, oh boy. He's trying to deward here. Just blindly pops down a sentry. Did not see where Winter actually went with his wards. They were not over here in the woods when he placed that, but it's not going to matter. He's out of range, and he's out of sentries as well. Yep, that's it. They already placed the sentry here to block a camp, so Winter will not get dewarded, and should be able to get quite a bit of experience. Although, there's going to be a sleep, and a crush, and actually it's going to be our first blood! Winter, my friend! Winter! No bueno. No bueno. He has the Observer ward. He saw the Bane up in the woods. Saw he had a Sentry and an Observer. Saw they left his inventory, but just underestimated their killing potential, I suppose. Well, a momentary lapse there is going to cost Orange a first blood that looked to be very avoidable. Meanwhile, middle lane, Miracle's posting up. Already, only level 2, diving past the tower, chipping away at Ysera, who's gone early null, which means very little regen. And as Quas Exhort Invoker, generally you don't get many points in Quas early. So this early harassment really hurts his ability to lane. Miracle's doing a great job of seeing he has no regen and getting aggressive. Nicely done by him. And should be a matchup that continues to go Miracle's way. At least until the forward spirits start coming out. That's where maybe it can turn a bit, but even with the Quas Exhort Invoker and that extra damage, it's hard to keep up with the TA. So off the bat, Insidious C is doing a bit of jungling. Has a Dark Troll Warlord. A little bit early to try and gank the TA. And unfortunately, I think just with that one creep, it won't be enough. But yeah. After the death, Winter's got to be a little more cautious. He's going to walk right into these supports. Oh boy. I think if they had slept faster, they might have been able to kill him. Just a little bit slow to do it. Now, remember, the one issue for Winter here is he doesn't actually have a rune ward. He's just got the one ward in the jungle, which gives him vision of the Bane moving through, but does not let him know what rune spawns bottom. So if he walks bottom and say there's an invis, and they just happen to catch him in the river, he could easily fall. But so far, he's not getting much. Compared to Hana, it's not even close. And really, what's a Gyro Visage gonna do? Clock's already got boots. If you actually chase him, he'll just cog and walk out. So Hana will get a lot. There's no stopping that. Unless the Chen comes in. But so far, no sign of the Chen moving. Content to jungle for the time being. Will find himself a Wildcat. He's supporting mid a little bit. And as mentioned, they really need the help over here. Zenith now looking for a sleep, but Winter will simply Firefly over the cliffs and should be absolutely fine. I want action. Where's my kills? They'll come in the mid game, I suppose. The one thing to keep in mind for Orange is they do have the Exhort Invoker, so even though he's going to lose that lane for sure, maybe he can help set up a kill on Hana, but as I say that, Hana's quite tanky. But there's a smoke now. Zenith's been revealed, and Winter walks right into it yet again. No ward really costing him here. Now he's on the run. They could sleep. Follow up with an arrow. Nope. No sleep. Just a casual arrow from Aeon. I guess Zenith must have just been saying, we can't kill him, don't waste it. And then Aeon's like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. But if you're going to throw the arrow, you might as well sleep first to set it up. What is this Dota? I feel like both teams have not fully woken up yet. Or at least if they're awake, maybe they need some coffee. As I say that, Ysera will go top. He picks up the haster and he goes Bassi. So the Hani build, I guess you could call it. The early null, the early Bassi. Really focusing on adding damage and just being able to... Having Bassi helps deal with your mana issues as Exhort Invoker because Cold Snap, pretty spammable. Forward Spirit's not that mana intensive, but if you ever throw out a Sunstrike, that chews through your mana very quickly. Now we're going on to Miracle with the haster, and Sentry gets deployed. Miracle, he's underestimated this damage, and he will fall to Ysera. Now the Courier, in a bit of trouble. Almost goes down to the Radiant Tower, but not quite. And now beats a hasty retreat to the base. So Winter's given up a bottom lane. He's going woods, but this is a huge turn in favor of Scythe SG. They're not giving up their off lane. Sure, the mid lane, they lose the TA, but she's still farming quite well, 18-13. Not bad, considering that she's had the Chen all up in her face most of the game. And Hana's level 5, while Winter is forced to share the jungle with Insidious C. And if they get some bad golem spawns, they're in a world of trouble. So far, though, pretty lucky. No golems just yet. Yeah, level 3 bat, boots, bottle. Gonna be a while before he comes on. And he may even be forced to steal stacks that you'd like to see go to the Gyrocopter. Just goes back to that first blood. Had the vision of the wards and just got caught out. And there might be a smoke here now. Smoke picked up on the Bane. They'll rotate through the woods. They didn't de-ward Orange, so they don't necessarily know where their Observer Ward is. And in fact, it is about to expire anyway. But this could be an opening here. Look for the arrow. It's going to start from your Mirana. Arrow to fly. And Ysera will just walk south. Or north. Up. Up. Cardinal directions are too hard, guys. Let's just stick to simple up, down, left, right. Oh my. That's quite a Forge Spirit. I didn't realize they made this work in, I'm sorry if I miss any kills. But this is really entertaining. Alright. I think we'll see that smoke now. No? Just gonna waddle top. Hey, bottom lane's empty. This is good. Why leave your supports bottom? Maybe leave one to pull, but leaving both of them, there's just no point to it. Miracle on the run. He can melt soon. There's a Sunstrike available, but he will melt. No refraction. Sunstrike to fly. He jukes. Barely escapes. His creeps will do him in, though. They block him in the corner. Frustration pings coming out now for Miracle. That's 2 solo kills by the Invoker. Ysera is just running Miracle over. But there will be a trade here. They're going to lose Essek, so any second now. Arrow to fly. Clockwork's here. That's a hook shot. Won't even need it. No cooldown. And an easy kill. And what's Bat going to do? TP's in, but all he can do is go woods. Even though there's been 2 solo kills mid, and that's a huge deal, I still think this is slightly favoring Scythe, simply because they're getting farm out of all 3 lanes, and Orange are not. And they've got a liability of a Bat Rider right now. But as I say that, Winter, he sees a big push building, double range creep, the lane's gonna push. And I just missed a courier going down. Looks like I just got sniped by Ysera in the river. As I say that, there's a TPN for Poisson. He's gonna die. And that had his bottle and his Belt of Giant Strength. Just mismicroed the courier. Ran it right into the Forge Spirit and the Invoker. Sloppy, sloppy play for Miracle. But here comes the dive. Prepare for the hook shot. It hits a creep, and then the cogs miss as well. Hana, not his lucky day. And now a call down comes. We'll connect with the first clip. Is there Soul Assumption? No, yes it is enough. Barely gets the kill, but Sharky does it. Wow. Just a very poorly coordinated game from both teams. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Arrows with... I'm jinxing them now, too. But Palasson's gonna miss on this crush there. I mean, we've seen arrows with sleep available, but not being used to set it up. Winter spotting the enemy placing wards and still just getting wrapped around upon when he should have expected defensive tri-lane. The courier being fed mid. Miracle getting blocked by his own creeps, which isn't really his own fault, but it's kind of clowny. What a game. This is not quite the Orange versus Zenith heading into TI3 that I remember, but there's still some months here yet for these teams to shape up. And shape up they better. I believe, though. I still have faith. They'll go in now top. They'll start with a sleep here. Great Observer Ward setting things up. Arrow to fly, and that will connect. They tried to juggle it by Sharky, but it's just a bit too late. The crush is available. Not even needed. They might turn 2. Is there a TP reaction? No, there's not. Poisson already with the Blink Dagger out. Even though they might lose the Bane, still it would be a 2-for-1. He's low. He will fall. But well worth the trade. And finally, Insidious C wants to make a move of his own. Problem is, Miracle's heading top. He hits level 8. Hey, I'm almost dying to the tower here. Looks like I missed the Sunstrike on him that brought him quite low. Yeah, he didn't look that low to me earlier.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But meanwhile, Winter has caught up nicely. He's almost got a Blink Dagger, so despite the awful start, this could be the item that helps turn the game around. Pretty easy to kill the TA with that. At least gives them a fighting shot in some of these engagements, but I feel like the Slardar Blink is quite a bit scarier.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Blink Lasso every minute or so is nice, but Blink Crush every like 10-15 seconds? Pretty damn strong. I mean, Crush is what, 8-second cooldown? Yeah, 8 seconds, so you blink, you crush, you chase, you crush. If you need to blink again, there you go. Ysera will pick up a Midas. I mean, he's really been the one player keeping them in this game so far. Gets 2 solo kills on TA mid. I actually didn't see if those were his sentries or if he got pulled by a teammate, but either way, that is impressive stuff. And now they'll send the Bane bottom. They want to get him level 6, so they already have the Slardar Blink. He can continue to be active around the map. No reason to leave him farming. He's Slardar. He's not a carry. So let the Bane get level 6. Maybe they'll rotate the Mirana into farm next. She's going drums and is not too far off. But I like the way that Scythe is moving around the map. They seem to have a pretty clear game plan. They say, you know, let's get the Slardar Blink, then we'll give the Bane level 6, then maybe we rotate Mirana in to be a farmer. And she's already starting to get some top. They're just doing a nice job of understanding kind of the power curves of each hero and making adjustments on the fly as needed. Like, if you remember the game earlier from Execration versus Titan, they had this Ancient Apparition that needed levels, and he just sat bottom and didn't do anything. So Scythe being a much quicker on the uptake here. And they're keeping the pressure on, but there's an Observer Ward here from the Dire side. Moonlight Shadow is available. Could maybe see an initiation here. So far, not coming, though. And Orange know there's 3, and that's why we see this. Sharky just abandoning the tower. Mariko's going to contest this double damage rune, but the Meteor gets dropped. Deafening Blast is there as well. He's got a fresh Refraction, though. He might turn around on this, but out of Refraction charges already. Continues to run. Hook shot. Going to connect on a teammate, it looks like. Mariko will live for the time being, but he's low. They lasso one onto the Clave. A full duration Fiend's Grip gets channeled onto the Ysera. The tides have turned. He's on the way out. Now a call down on the backside. Polisol making a huge escape. He'll get out. The Invoker won't be so lucky. That's a level 11 Invoker biting the dust. So that's a big prize. That is a just whopper of a kill. He's level 11. Even after that kill, nobody is 9 or above. What an important kill here for Scythe. Of all the heroes to die, that was the one they could ill afford. And Miracle's going aggressive here. With Invoker dead, there's not a whole lot of damage over time. Only the Gyro who can quickly remove those Refraction charges with Rocket Barrage. I guess there's the bat, but he knows Lasso's on cooldown as well, as Winter used it in the previous fight. So Miracle able to play more aggressive than he otherwise would. And while that's happening, Palasan takes a tier 1 top. First tower of the game, I believe. Yep, first tower of the game. Not too shabby. Guys, if you're just joining us, this is game 1 of a best of 3. It's Scythe SG versus Orange. Of course, I'm LD. I was joined by PPD earlier, and he had to go after about 3 hours. We only got through 1 game. Then Titan versus Execration finally started after about a 2-hour delay as soon as I left. But that's okay. We've had a good game so far here. A sloppy one, but, well, bloody nonetheless. And ultimately, that's all I care about. Give me some action. Give me some kills. And I am not going to complain. Not too much, anyway. Have caster, want Dota. I finally got it, guys. Hana will rotate back, though, and meanwhile, Pulsar can use amplify damage on the siege creep, and using it to just kill it off quicker. But this is how bad of a pusher Slaughter is. Like, he's forced to use amp damage on siege creeps just to push. Really not his specialty as a hero. But he's farmed. Ogre Club online, 1,000 gold up. And once he gets BKB, there's almost nothing Orange can do to deal with him. Like, sure, you lasso him, but you're still not going to kill him, and Ysera gets caught out running through the river. Crush is going to connect, and that's an easy kill. He will get 1 in return, though. The damage is pretty high, intense. Oh, no, sorry, that was a deny by the Bane. Actually managed to defensively Nightmare. Beautifully played. Looked like a surefire kill. Meanwhile, a trap comes in mid. And another trap now as well. Maybe a turnaround working here. Splashing through with Refraction. We'll back off. What a defensive Nightmare from Zen. Didn't even get the sound effect or the animation, but it was a deny. Indeed there was. You know, one thing I'll say about solo casting is you always are like, let me just double check that, because there's no one else to do it for you, so. Someone gets denied, I'm like, did he actually get denied? Am I hallucinating? Well, I might be hallucinating, but he did actually get denied. Both things, these two are not mutually exclusive. And so now we'll see a push up mid. Orange grouping up. While meanwhile Scythe hide in the trees. There's a double familiar stun coming through. Fiend Script's online, Clockwork Hook's online. Orange are the stronger team fight lineup, and they do have a mech on Chen, so That's why they feel ready to take this fight. They go into Miracle, but a Blade Crush connects on 3. Will it be enough? Arrow to Flag follows up, not doing really that much. Now the Clockwork coming through. Looks like he wasn't able to get in range, and now Aeon on the run gets dusted and will fall. The Courier almost managed to deliver his magic wand of all things in the midst of the chaos. Boy, that was a 4-hero Blink Crush. But you see the power of that mech, Hand of God, just to turn the fight and turn the tides. And Scythe should not have tried to defend that tower. They saw the mech. They're not the strongest team fight lineup. And they're good. If they can catch one out before they get to the tower, that's when they should go. But to group and just force your way into a Chen with mech, level 7, and Hand of God, now level 8. And Exhort Invoker, who has quite a bit of AoE in his own right, plus Gyro, that's a recipe for feed. And they're lucky to only lose the Mirana and the tower after that. That really could have been worse. They'll keep on farming. And then we look towards the mid game. And that's where Scythe SG want to spread the map a lot. This team, it just does not want to be taking team fights until they have quite a few items on their cores. The big ones being the BKB on the Slardar, and probably the BKB or maybe Manta on the TA. But that's exactly what they're doing. Top they'll go now. There's no feet. There's no Chen ult. There will be a nice Deafening Blast from Ysera, but a leap forward and a call down. They'll throw everything at him. And then Orange tries to turn around on the back of it. Familiar coming through. No stomp available, though, so it just idly flies by. Poloson turns around. We'll tank the missile to the face. And while that's happening, Winter jumps forward. There's a Blink Crush, though. SXO will fall, but Winter flies high, and Winter is going to clean up, I think. Poloson low. Is there a Flame Break? Not needed. He finds one. The double damager and doing the work. Now Miracle on the back foot. Well, or is he on the front foot? Winter, he's the one who picks up another kill. Snags the double, 3 for 3, but now he must run, and run quickly. Bane has no mana. Beautiful familiar stuns, getting him out. So, I mean, call Winter a comeback artist. 3-1-1. After the first blood, after getting completely zoned out of lane, and he's got 4 staff. This is a very impressive comeback performance for Winter, and I mean, you look at most players, if they have a start like that, they just feed. So, Winter showing some real gumption here in game 1 of this best of 3. Very good. Very good stuff.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
TA is free farming, but I think what's really impressive is actually Poloson. He's kept up on farm as a Slardar. He's out farming Gyro, he's out farming Bat by a long shot, and he's been very active, 4-1 and 3. This is pretty much a picture-perfect Slardar game. Most Slardar games you see, either they just have a really good start, you get an early blink, and just go kill heroes constantly, but their farm suffers, or they over-farm and they don't join the fights enough. It's very rare to see a Slardar game where they keep up and farm and keep involved in fights. It is not as easy as it looks to strike that balance. You miss one gank, suddenly you're 10, 15 CS down. You miss 2, 20 plus. It adds up quickly.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So despite the early sloppy start, seems like the teams are getting a little more comfortable, getting into the groove, and starting to make things happen around the map. They will smoke here on the side of Orange and head towards the bottom lane. Still, the tier 1 stands there, and Winter makes a big move. There's a Radiant Observer ward here, and it is going to reveal him. Not the ward, but the Slardar, rather. So he'll leap back to safety. But he's got 4 staff now. Blink Force, 19 minutes in. It's not world-beating, but considering, it's pretty good. Whereas you look at the Clockwork of Hana, had a really powerful start, but he's now 2 levels behind Winter. Down on net worth by quite a bit, 2k almost. And sure, Clockwork doesn't desperately need a ton of farm, but he just hasn't been a big presence after those early fights. They're really just waiting on this Slardar BKB, though. Once Poloson gets his BKB, there's not a whole lot to wait for, but oh boy. While he's waiting for it, the cooldown's going to come through. He just gets completely beaten down, and Winter is dominating. Was there a BKB on the way? It's got to have some components of it.
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Was on the curry, gets dropped on the stash. Just odd timing for me, missing on both ends of the exchange. But yeah, there's your BKB. And now I'd like to see Scythe force some fights. At least go for a Moonlight Shadow into a Slardar gank. Use your Fiend's Grip to force a fight. Just sitting back and farming is okay, as long as they don't feed. But I mean, they're a good pickoff lineup. They can do both. And while that's happening, Miracle pushes in bottom, takes the tier 1. Finally, the safe lane tower down. BKB coming soon, and that's what they're waiting for. The double BKB about to come out. They've picked up one. The second follows shortly. And if you're orange and you want to take this late, that's where you're going to need to start stacking Ancients, look towards Roche. They need to accomplish more objectives. Scythe, although I'd like to see them go for pickoffs, don't need them. They just need to not die and to farm. But orange are going to need some as this game goes later. If they get farmed enough on TA, it's a one-core lineup, basically, against a Bane and a lot of good single-target lockdown. So they can just focus this Gyro in the fights. They'll have a tough time. Maybe they get a Hex on the Invoker. He is pretty farmed, but he goes Boots of Travel first. So, no Hex coming anytime soon. Maybe he goes Necrobook next. And here comes a smoke from orange. They make it up, breach enemy high ground in the Radiant jungle, and start hunting for kills, and they might just find Miracle here. They're close. They can smell him. They can taste him, and they will catch him. He's got BKB, though. They got to kill him fast, and they will. There's a blink and a crush on the 4, but it's after the TA dies. There's no Templar Assassin. There's no deeps for this fight. Paulson runs. He will barely live with 14 HP. I think it was more like 10, and barely survives. Lives to tell the tale. There was a Sunstrike onto Aeon. Not enough to get the kill. But imagine if they had the TA. Another 4-hero crush. Just no ability for this lineup to take the 5v5 clashes. Not when TA's dead. She is really all of their damage. Or at least a good 50+% of it. Orange just seemed to have a clear... The early game, Scythe had the more organized movements, but the mid game has been all about Orange. Just taking advantage of their superior initiation, as well as just their better positioning on the map. Find one pick with the bat. And it's been Winter as the engine that really drives this team. 5-1-1. Remember, he fed First Blood, and he fed it in a rather inexcusable way. But here he is. Doing quite well for himself. So now for Orange, they take the tier 1 mid. It's a good start. Tier 1 tops down. Still there's a tier 1 bottom, but soon the way will lie open to Roshan. They just need one more good pick-off to make it happen. And with this Invis rune, it should be possible. Oh, speaking of initiations, here comes Scythe, the Singaporeans on the prowl. They'll head up to the left, north of the Dire ramp. They make it into the Dire jungle, unchecked. No, Winter's gonna scout him out with the Invis. He breaks the smoke. He potentially turns the tides here. There's a blink last, so he's found the Bane, isolates him on the backline. The Bane will fall once again. Winter, the savior, breaks up the smoke gang, interrupts the chain, and now, well, he'll tank an arrow, because I jinxed him. But that was all they needed. Just disrupt the smoke. Don't let the Bane get off a grip. And now it could be Roche. I think it will be Roche. Waiting for the 24-minute route? No. Okay. No. Looks like they'll go for tier 1 instead. They don't have a medallion here. I feel with a medallion this would be an easy Roche. But they've gone triple 4-staff. Largely just to deal with Scythe's lineup. Clockwork Cogs and just two great chasing heroes in Slardar as well as TI. Mid lane. Tower deny. Tower denied. No.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Well, you can't win them all, but I'd say he's winning the important battles so far.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They'll keep on pushing through, and oh, while I was checking Skype, I missed a kill on Winter. He will die here, but they take a tier 1 bottom. Still a good pickoff for Scythe. Ending the kill streak at a crucial time, and they continue to pursue. Insidious Sea on the way out. There's going to be a blink crush here. Yeah, there is. There's a net. There's a double stun. But it's not going to matter with the BKB. Maybe it will. The force and the net. There's a blink. A wand. They keep on chasing. The crush is there. He stops the Hand of God. Sets up an even easier crush while he's in the cast animation. Not ideal. So Winter's death leads to another. And that's now 2 dead. That's not really a great trade. Taking the tower is alright. But not the clear victory it would have been. And now Boots of Travel out for Winter. So, double Boots of Travel on Exhort Invoker, as well as the bat. This team can show up pretty much out of nowhere and instantly pick off anybody on your squad. At least anybody who doesn't have a BKB. Anybody is not the right word, but anybody who doesn't have a BKB, yeah, they can die to this combo. But speaking of the BKBs, that's where once Scythe get a few more items, Orange will need a lot of damage to deal with them. They don't have much on BKBs. Lasso's nice, but there's no real physical damage yet. Exhort Invoker, decent, but not overwhelming at this stage of the game. And certainly not as the TA and the Slardar continue to buff up. And speaking of getting buff, Slardar up to 3,200 health. Maybe we'll see the Assault Cuirass next. Really nice synergy with TA. Heaven's Halberd is not a bad choice, although the main hero you'd want it for is the Gyro. And he already has BKB. Outside of that, could just tank, go for something like a Heart, but I think Armlet Slardar is pretty strong as well. Sure, they've got a TA Mirana, but just it gives you a nice combination of being tanky as well as being able to actually put out damage and be a threat in fights. But one of those would probably be the likely choice here. Rosh is now being scouted out by the Dire side. The rocket will come through, over the top. While Aeon chills in the river, farms a familiar, and retreats out. And they're gonna go for it. Straight into the pit. No hesitation here. Radiant Observer Wards right outside of it. Rockets coming through. And Orange, are they gonna stick around after being scouted? There's a Moonlight Shadow. And they're gonna make their move now. Is there a Sentry Ward? Are they ready for the Moonlight Shadow? There's dust up on Winter. Sentry gets dropped. The Blink Crush narrowly off the mark. And now he looks to turn around. He uses this Blink to go forward. They force out the BKB from Slardar. They've got nothing for it. They grip the Gyro, but it immediately gets canceled. It looks like now Cogs keeping 2 away. Rosh is dropping fairly low in the process. TA focusing on Chen creeps. Somebody kill a hero. Now Miracle wants Rosh, but while it's happening, they've lost 2. The BKB doing nothing for the Slardar. The initial Blink Crush off the mark. And it's just been an awful little engagement here. A 2-for-1. They get the Gyro. So actually it's not as bad as I thought, but it's still a pretty bad fight. And with no BKBs now. No hook shot, no BKBs, no Fiend's Grip, no Moonlight Shadow. I mean, sure, the Dire have most of their abilities down, but they still have Chen Hand of God, they still have lots of Force Staffs available, Forge Spirits are really strong in these fights, Cold Snap's really good, and they have the one-man advantage, so... without a buyback here, this is most probably Rosh, and, well, speaking of buybacks... nothing on the Slardar, and nothing on the Mirana. So it's a 3v4. That Gyro does. I would say if they feel stressed about this Rosh, then buyback is definitely worth it here to secure it. We'll have a pause. The admin reconnects, but he's not the one we're waiting for, guys. By the way, we do have a few more Dota TV tickets. If you don't know what tournament this is, from that gigantic logo, that garish logo, right about here, it is the ACG Best of the Best for Southeast Asia. It is one of the premier Southeast Asian events going on right now. We'll be covering it once a week for the next 5 weeks. 3 weeks of group stage round robin play, I believe, and then 2 weeks of playoffs. So you'll get all your broadcasts here on Beyond the Summit, along with myself. Gods will be back on March 3rd, and he'll be casting in future weeks. Lysander is streaming currently on our second channel, so be sure to check that out if you want some Mineski, some Pinoy Dota in your life. Twitch.tv/Beyond the Summit too. But yeah, we on pause now. Rocket will come. And it looks like they're gonna back off. They might have lost all their familiars in that fight, which is one thing I was not considering. Yeah, it looks like they have no familiars, and they're on cooldown for 2 minutes, so with that, pretty big loss, and a bit risky. And if they lose the Rush fight, Scythe will take in like 3 seconds. But man, that was just a sloppy, bizarre fight. TA BKB was just farming Chen creeps. Winter, the Slardar blinked in, missed Winter, then Winter like blinked like 3 feet to the left, is like, oh shit, I don't want to be here, and ran away. That was... the Clockwork had a really nice set of cogs that trapped 2 heroes away, and then Mirana was like leaping over the cogs to go and fight those heroes and died in the process, instead of just focusing the heroes that were isolated. I was very confused by the engagement. Not... again, I feel not the team's finest work. Force Staff is now out on the Bane, though, so a good form of initiation here. Force Staff into Fiend Script, potentially. And now Orange is just going to bide their time. Wait for the familiars to respawn. The big concern for me, though, is this gyrocopter. He is just not keeping up in farm. 10k net worth. I mean, it seems reasonably close, but then you look at some of these enemy heroes. Like the TA, Yasha up, 2k gold up. Mirana's got a Desolator as a utility ganking support. The DPS for Scythe in the late game is really... Hero-wise, they've got the huge upper hand. And that's where Orange need to be up in items. And they're just not right now. Not even close. Is there anything even for the gyro on the courier? There's not. Hey, maybe Chen will get an E-Blade. A man can dream, huh? Well, it's a smoke gank now for Scythe. This is... It's gotta be one of their last smokes. Yeah, this is their last one for 5 minutes. No more in the inventory. Sure, they've got Moonlight Shadow, but they want to make this one work. And they'll parade up the river. Zenith does have that 4-staff grip. They could go now. Orange are in position, but maybe just a bit too late. They start with a Blink Crush, but he gets 4-staff once. He BKBs again. Polostone did manage to get off his own BKB. Hana just hookshots on his own Slardar. That was not a very good hookshot at all, but Ysera 4-staffed away again. It's a parade of 4-staffs. They keep on pushing him back. BKBs are running out, and I think that's going to be it for now. The Slardar runs, though. Missiles coming through. They try to kill it off. It's going to connect, though. Now a Sunstrike. This will bring Polostone quite low. He sprints for his dear life. Flame Break pushes him back. Down to 15 health. But they can't kill him. And now Winter chases. With all the BKBs down. With such an awful engagement, they could do nothing but turn, tail, and run. Oi, oi, oi. Scythe just cannot get a good fight off. Clockwork Cookie, the Slardar. This is just... not going their way, guys. And now they know everything's down. And this time they'll go rogue. They've got 5 up. They have their Scythe isn't too far off on the Invoker. And even though Orange will not keep up in damage output, getting the Scythe and having Bat, they can just get pickoffs and never have to fight in a true man fight, so to speak. And Roshan's started to drop here, but they're still hesitant to force the issue. Buybacks are available on quite a few heroes. Remember, the Dire still have their tier 1 up mid, so they're going to have the map control advantage. Should anybody die, need to buy back. Plus, they've got double boots of travel. And right as I say that, they smoke. There's a Radiant Observer Ward here around the corner. And they are backing off. Not sure if they actually saw anyone. Someone would have had to be, like, right around here. I think they were all safely inside the trees. But they're going to try it one more time. And remember, there's no Moonlight Shadow. There's no smoke. Scythe just have to run in. Using up that last smoke earlier means that they're really spotted every step of the way. The arrow comes through. Not going to connect, but Winter's wrangled in one. That's your Slardar. Just gets blown up. Annihilated off the bat. Another great initiation. Sunstrike just slightly up the mark. But Winter, like, just the gift that keeps on giving here for Orange. Man, talk about carrying your team. 5, 2, and 4. Every single lasso has been crucial. After a really poor start, arrow will come in. But there's no stopping this rush now. It goes to RNG Sports. A big turn of events. The power of the bat. And it's going to get scarier soon with the Scythe from Invoker. They don't have the deep slate game. At least I would say if there's equal farm on all 3 cores for each team, they don't. But well, they most certainly have the initiation advantage. And that's what they're relying on now. And for Winter now, if he gets just a BK... Well, actually BKB wouldn't be that good this game. Maybe it's a Linken's or Mask of Madness game. I feel like either of those would be a better choice. BKB versus Bane, as well as Clockwork, just kind of underwhelming. Mainly just for the Bane. But we'll see what his choice is. And at long last, your Gyro is getting some farm. I mean, as for Scythe, I just think right now what they want to do is wait out the Aegis, split push a lot, continue farming. Miracle, if he gets enough items, will just be able to solo kill, like, pretty much anyone. And certainly with a Blink Crush, he can do it. Mirana can scale well with some farm here. Get her a Yasha, work towards a Manta style. There's no need to force engagement, and certainly not while the Aegis is online. Moonlight Shadow could be used just to set up pickoffs. Maybe you try and pop the Aegis before Orange start really grouping and forcing fights. But getting a smoke, going aggressive is just... well, smoke isn't available, and although it's coming up in a minute. And relying on Moonlight Shadow to initiate, I guess it could work. There's still no gem. Winter's actually gone Ghost Scepter. Actually, if you think about it, TA and Slardar are most of their damage, but considering there's a Mirana with a Diffusal Blade, I'm not so sure about this Ghost Scepter pickup. To be honest, I would have rather seen something else. Linked Sphere, I think, is one option here. Or just Mask of Madness. But we'll see. If he ever gets caught by TA, it will help him quite a bit. Picks up a DD, and more importantly, denies it to Miracle, and then Winter will retreat out. Colossun's on the prowl, but there's a Dire Observer Ward here, spotting out a lot of this movement. And so they'll say, great, let's push bottom. 3 heroes clumped up. Gyro gonna TP out. And they will look to defend this. Winter's coming through the jungle. Forward Spirit's doing a bit of scouting. And the Scythe's almost here. Just 400 gold. For Orange, I imagine that's when we'll see the next level of aggression. Get your Scythe up. Maybe... does Sharky have any components? No. I don't think you wait for the Ags. That's not really a big item. I mean, it is a big item, but... I don't think you want to wait that long. At least want to force, like, maybe the tier 2 top or bottom with this Aegis. And if you're Scythe, just don't take any team fights. Just wait it out. It's only game 1 of a best of 3. 15 to 12, 35 minutes in. It's been more of a cerebral game, to be honest. Some sloppy fights, but just not a whole lot of them. And we'll see a Manta-style Gyro. Not a big fan. You can Manta out of the Slardar ultimate. You can Manta out of the traps from TA. The slow, but even so, I'm not a big Manta Gyro fan. Your illusions don't get flat cannon. The move speed's alright. But honestly, as Gyro, you just count on your team to hold them in position. They need damage. And if this goes later, having something like a Manta is not going to be ideal for Gyro. That's where you'll wish that you had more of a raw damage item. Or just a raw carry item, like a Satanic. Even a Butterfly. I think Butterfly would have been a really strong choice. TA will be going MKB, I guess. So, maybe not as strong as what I'm suggesting. But, we'll see. Manta still has its utility in this game, though. It's not a bad item, it's just... It's just, not, like, an obvious choice for me. The one other thing they can do is try and bait out... which is a little bit more obscure, but you can use your Manta illusions just to try and bait out a Fiend's Grip. And if Scythe wastes a Fiend's Grip on an illusion, that could be game-changing. But that's pretty next level. Either way, the push will commence in earnest bottom lane, and it's been correctly identified by Scythe. Already, they storm towards top. They don't want to fight while Aegis is up. They'll just go for the tower trade here instead. And speaking of that Aegis, we have about a minute and a half left. Should be an even trade here. Orange are not... there's still a glyph up for Orange. There's already a glyph been used, or sorry, for Scythe, and Orange already used their glyph. But you can see with the Forge Spirits, they push quite hard. So 1 for 1. Orange are going to force some TPs back, I imagine. Force them to TP back, then go farm their woods on the way out. In the game of Chicken, as we see Scythe, triple teleport reaction. Straight back to the base.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And the X factor here is just that you've got the Chen send back. So send them back, Boots of Travel in. I want to see some cute plays with these bots. Where's the sneaky Chen creep running onto somebody, and then you Boots of Travel and chop, or the familiars for that matter. Oops. I haven't really used them too much for that purpose. But they have a really strong potential. Just whenever they feel like going for pickoffs, just send your various minions around the map, your creeps, and just look for a good opportunity to bots in Scythe, Blink Hex, or Blink Lasso, and go for an easy kill. The initiation range of Orange is effectively not infinite, but most of the map. And by the way, Ysera's lurking, just waiting. Remember, they have this Boots of Travel. And now the Scythe comes. Winter Boots have traveled into the Chen creep. It's a trap! You ain't getting away from this one, Polisson. He gets lassoed as well. Maybe he will, but they dust. They bring him down. Boots of travels onto the Chen creeps and then secures it from there. Well, that's the mobility that I was mentioning for Orange. Now an arrow will fly, but this is a pretty tanky Gyro. They'll try for a Fiend's Grip. They need a Cold Snap. They need something to cancel it, and they'll get one. Well done by Ysera. Calm in the face of fire. And Scythe will be forced back, so Fiend's Grip down. Slardar dead. I think if you're Orange, it's go time now. And they're going the Mirana here. They Scythe her up. They bring her down. What was she doing sticking around for so long? Not respecting the Scythe. This is where you storm down mid. At least force a buyback out. Threaten something. Or maybe you go top and go for the tier 2. But you definitely want to take an objective after those 2 kills. And let's see if they can. 7 heroes with buyback. Everybody but the Bane, the Mirana, and the Clockwork. "40 minutes in. They're on the march. Who leads the way? I believe it should be Winter. Oh, of course. He's level 16, man. This lasso, always ready to go. One more Blink Lasso could just drop the fight for Scythe, even though they've got the buybacks. And, well, Miracle will get caught. He did get off a BKB. He actually has gone Daedalus here. The cooldown gets dropped, connecting on a few. Slardar's still there, and the nice Ghost Scepter keeps Winter alive. Now, the BKBs are wearing off. The turnaround comes. The Meteor gets dropped. Behold the meatball. But another Blake, another Crush. They found Ysera again. He pops the stick charges. Hand of God is down. Mech is down. Now they sleep the Visage. There's nothing left in the tank here. They're going to lose the Invoker. They might lose more. Familiars falling on the sidelines. They actually... Oh, there you go. They'll bring down Sharky. 2-0. And an Aegis now gone. And now they start painting mid. Are they going down mid?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Again, the damage output for Orange, where is it? Gyro with Manta, Helm of the Dominator, just does not hit very hard. And they definitely have the damage to kill a single hero, but when it comes to a team fight, Miracle is putting out way more damage than anyone else. Like, probably more than 2 or 3 heroes combined on Orange, if he gets a crit.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And this also just comes down to great reaction by Miracle. As Winter blinks in, instantly pops the BKB. Without it, he was dead to rights. But instead he lives. He takes through the lasso, and he is not forced to buy back. Up to 3.6k. Again, as this game goes later, you just have to look at one lineup has TA and Slardar. Mass minus armor, mass physical DPS. That's where Orange just don't... That's where they're weakest. Their advantage is initiation. But recently we just haven't seen much good initiation from them. It's definitely still possible, though. You never want to count on a team with double Boots of Travel, Bat with Blink Force Boots of Travel, and Lasso Online, as well as an Invoker with Hex. These guys, they'll catch you from anywhere. Well, Roche Trap does get dewarded here by the Satyr. For some reason I wanted to call him the Ursa. Go home, LD. You're drunk. But indeed. Such is life, guys. I'm drunk on lack of Dota. I waited 2.5 hours to cast a game after a really fun Execration vs Titan game. And I'm still on the lamb trying to recover here. Will Winter be the playmaker again here in our first game? He finds Aeon. Did have a Force Lasso, but doesn't know who's behind Aeon right now. Looking at Dire Vision, they have no idea where these 4 heroes are. If they knew where he was, I think he at least tries the Force Staff Lasso, but... Well, might have had to be a Force Staff into Flaybreak into Lasso, but I think he could have done it. Doesn't have the vision, so he'll just play it safe. Well, if Orange were to take it late, then another Hex would be much appreciated. Maybe a Hex on the Chen, something like an Assault Cuirass could be in the offing on the Visage. They have some access to late game, but I still maintain that in a straight up fight, they're not taking that. They'll need the Butterfly on Gyro. They'll probably need a Satanic. I almost feel like he's just got to be 6 slotted, honestly. And this TA is 3k gold ahead. Remember, Miracle got solo killed twice. He got solo killed twice mid. And was farming evenly. And look at him now. Up 40 CS on the Gyro. Sitting 3-3-1, not a good kill score, but... I mean, this is why you look at Orange. They're like, hey, we're playing against a Miracle team. Let's ban Naga and Morphling, guys. Let's ban out Miracle, or die trying. And that's... They might die trying, but that certainly was the attempt. Finally a smoke. Finally a chance for some blood. Some action. Let's get spicy here, boys. 5 heroes waiting in the dire base. And nobody's smoking just yet. And Roshan's now back up, and both teams should know it, because it's been just about 11 minutes at this point. There's a Radiant Observer Ward, which does see this nice little cross-section. Normally when teams try to just walk into the Rosh pit, they go like that. They don't generally walk around this way, so... this Observer Ward, not one you can walk by. If you want to sneak in, you'll have to smoke. Speaking of smoke, are Orange going for one? No, not yet. Just 5 manning around mid. Chilling. And here comes the real smoke. It's a big wraparound towards the north side. Now they head back towards the middle. They'll take the central path here. Through the jungle. Up and around, dropping traps as they go. And just looking for an opening. Orange are in the pit. A rocket will fly. It's actually... It will spot Sharky. They think that Orange are outside the pit. In fact, Orange are in the pit. In fact, Scythe might be too late. No, they should be in time for this now. Winter gets active. He pops the Firefly, heads north, but the gyro instantly goes down. Look at the damage output. Forced to buy back immediately. Just cannot stand against this physical damage. Still, though, they use 3 BKBs just to kill off the gyro, who immediately buys back. Now the trouble. Triple familiar stun comes through, but Sharky melts. Look at the crit. Miracle doing work, but a lot of AoE, not from the gyro, but actually from the Invoker. Sunstrike coming through, nails it. Ysera does it, turns it around. The buybacks making this game still a possibility for Orange. Without the buybacks there, double buyback on the bat and on the gyro. No way they get this Roche. But for Orange, just having the dire advantage allows them to outlast the Boots of Travel advantage as well. Outlast and turn the fight. But man, you do not want to get into a bar fight with this Templar Assassin. Not an engagement that anybody should be picking. But the Hex is coming real soon. Shen's going to have his, and that'll make 2. Winter's up to 1.7k. Was there anything else important traded in that fight? No, Gem has not changed hands, at least not recently. Both teams still have their Gem. I think the main problem for Scythe is these BKB durations. Down to 6 on Miracle. I feel like this is a 4. Yeah, that's a 4-second BKB for Colossan. He just instantly runs out of duration. The clock go down to 7? While they're up, Orange just can't do anything, but that may change soon enough. Your gyro's getting close to a butterfly. Well, close to an eagle's horn. Eagle song, I suppose. Meanwhile, 5 defending top. Just playing it safe. They got the Aegis, but again, it's not really the end of the road here for Scythe by any means. They can spread the map effectively. Orange, definitely a good ganky lineup. You have to be very cautious about the Boots of Travel ganks, about Bat Rider sneaking through the tree line up around this way. And that's why we see them not spreading out too much. But they could try and bait somebody on one of these side lanes. Maybe you convince Orange to come after you. And then you turn it around and ambush them.
Dire's middle tower is under
Well, for now, it's not going to happen. For now, we farm. Both teams are going to farm. So as it goes later for Scythe, we should see our TA just pick up the next damage item. Probably just an MKB. I mean, could rebuy BKB, but to me, that's your next step. That's not something you do yet. At that point, it's just about setting up the TA. If they actually hit one of those 3-4 hero crushes that they hit earlier this game, with the TA having an MKB, that's probably 2 or 3 heroes dead. If the clock works there as well, it almost certainly is. Rocket's gonna fly. It connects, but I believe they smoked just outside of this. They smoked, like, right back here. Rocket should not have spotted them. Another rocket's gonna fly. But it doesn't matter. They're still suspicious. You look at the Scythe vision right now. Middle lane, at the river, top lane pushing in. They may have spotted somebody, or they may just be playing it safe. But either way, main thing is Scythe do back off. Wow, RNG Sports Scythe. The last time these two teams fought, it was a Scythe 2-1 victory. Miracle got his respect in the draft. He's just, despite all the farm, still has not really carried this game. Boy, these rockets, really a thorn in the side of Orange. Just no easy way for them to get the jump on the enemy squad. Sneak through their woods. And with even when you smoke, it's not just what you see with the rocket, it's what you don't see. Like if you scout down a common path where you expect heroes to be and there's nobody, it's like, maybe they're smoked. So even the rockets that see nothing, they see something, guys. Did I just blow your mind?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Winter can boots will travel in here if they want. He doesn't have Firefly, so they'll have to wait for that. He'll need to push out top, and he's a little worried about a few heroes showing up. Well, now they've seen Palazzo, now they've seen Hana, now they've seen Zenith. But speaking of Aeon, well, speaking of not Palazzo, he fishes with an arrow, the Miranda does, but not going to connect. Well, I think the Aegis is almost up. Okay, now they've got 2 minutes here, and a butterfly. No MKB on the TA. No MKB, but 5.6k gold and a Demon Edge, so... Yeah, Miracle's good at farming creeps. He's a full 5k ahead of this Gyro. And the Invoker. But that's all for naught if he gets Hex. That just doesn't even matter.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
The tower will fall. There's a glyph available, but Scythe let it go first. Are they defending or not? No, they're base trading. It looks like Aeon at least staying top for now. They have brought back the TA, though. Now they pop the Moonlight Shadow. The trap gets deployed. The hookshot connects. It is on the Gyro. BKB. Nope, just a 4-step. Now he gets Fiend's Grip. Held in position for now. And a crush comes through on 2. And the cleave from Miracle. The splash is there. The splash is strong. One will fall. More may perish in the fall. And another crush. Another kill. It's all coming apart here. They lasso. But it's on the Slardar. Still reigning supreme as Miracle. Cleaning up creeps. But with a Gyro returning to the fray, maybe they turn this around. No BKB for Miracle. 4-step backwards. The arrow comes through. They all must run now. 2 on the way out. The Slardar did buy back for this, though. The Invoker did as well. And they get a Purge off. But the Gyromancer's right out of it. Keeps on running. They've got a Blink Crush here. Just a few seconds. Sprint. Still active. Blinks. Just needs a Crush. If he gets a Crush, that's a dead Gyro. Is there any way to get him out of here? There's a 4-staff. Still buying him time. And I don't think it's going to matter. Still isolated. Still caught out. Pops the BKB. Stands his ground, but stands it not for long. He falls. And that was a 4-hero sweep, basically. Winter, I believe the lone survivor from that engagement. Your Invoker died, bought back. Gyro died. Chen died. Visage died. That was 4 dead and an Aegis down. Orange Esports, just an awful engagement. Oh, that's all they needed, though, really, was just a crush and the TA right-clicking through. And now they'll find Palazzo potentially. Or, sorry, they'll find Ysera potentially. A nice 4-step from Sharky. These 4-steps, the only thing keeping Orange in this game, to be honest. Now a hookshot! Oh my god. I feel like I'm watching, like, I don't know, the Three Stooges. They're just, like, running into each other, butting heads. This, you could just make a highlight reel of facepalm moments from this Slardar Clockwork. Individually, they've played fine, but it's just whenever they get into each other, whenever they're involved in the same engagement, it just seems to go wrong. Like, get out of each other's way, my friends.
Coming in.
It's okay. It makes it entertaining for the rest of us. And now it's morphing into a Tricore. Mirana's picked up a BKB. The next item is where she's really going to hurt. If she gets an MKB, which isn't probably more than 7-8 minutes off, then Orange are going to have too many targets, I feel, to lasso. Even with double Hex. Even with the lasso. Already, it's just a struggle for them. Miracle Steak bought MKB. He had about it was about 5k and just a Demon Edge. Buys the MKB, now is another 6k. This guy is running a personal treasury. He's up by 8k gold on the Gyro. Just before the last fight, it was about 5. And now you see why they banned Naga and they banned Morphling. against Scythe. You just don't want to have to play against Miracle late game. Even though he's been underwhelming in the laning stage, he got sloppy early on. I mean, the guy knows how to farm. Nobody disputes that. And when he's got this backup, great initiations, mainly from Palasan, who's, to me, been the star of this show. That's where things get rough. Orange want to go, but little do they know. There's some backup here. They'll start with a Force, a Scythe. They've already chased too far. If they continue chasing, this could go very poorly for them. And Winter senses it. He's on the retreat out. No, actually, maybe he's on the way in. No, he's on the retreat. Yeah. That looked a little suspicious, and then after that initial jump in and Hex, and they didn't kill him, chasing there would have been suicide. Moonlight Shadow will be popped. And they'll make a move here. I don't know if this familiar actually saw them. I think I might have, judging by this hasty retreat. But even with seeing it, will they get out in time? Snake Man's on the prowl. Nope. A little bit too slow. Well, if 2 hexes ain't enough, get 3. Words to live by. Words to die by, perhaps, as well. But they'll try for it here, as Winter on the Batrider is maybe going Lincoln's, but I think we're probably going for yet another Hex. Honestly, I would like to see somebody get a Shiva's versus this TA. I think it's a really strong choice. Helps you to tank through all her physical damage. But, I mean, Miracle almost has Butterfly. He is literally about to be 6-slotted. 440 CS at 56 minutes. Playing against Miracle is the most annoying thing in the world. I can say that with great certainty. I had the misfortune to solo queue on SEA and end up with Miracle on the enemy team. And the worst part is when you lose against Miracle, it's like the slowest loss of your life. Because he won't end until he's 6-slotted. Even when he can end, he'd rather just rat and show off and continue to farm, so it is just slow and excruciating, but certain death. Well, we're getting towards that point now. Not certain, but likely. Prognosis for Orange is pretty grim here. Even with equal farm, Gyro is just not going to be able to keep up with a TA 1v1. Not with Slardar backing up especially. And the farm is, I mean, equal is just not the word. That word should not be in your vocabulary right now. He's a solid 2 tier 4 items up. 1.5 maybe. Well, that's one way to deal with him. I actually like this choice a lot. Out comes the Ethereal Blade. So when they go on somebody, you just Ethereal Blade that target. And there's not a whole lot that Scythe can do about that. They can just stun them, perhaps. They can grip them, maybe, but or sleep them, but they can't actually damage anyone during that time. Aside from the Diffusal Blade of the Mirana, which Aeon has very patiently held on to charges for. So if he's timely with the Diffusal Blade, then this Ethereal Blade will be for naught. But we'll have to see. Just too hard to predict how the fights are going to shake out. If you're just joining us, folks, it's only game 1 of a best of 3. It's only our second actual game of the day. We waited for about 3 hours. Titan Execration, we got through 1 game. That series is probably over by this point, but in case it's not, you could check out twitch.tv/Fineski. Hold that thought. Force, Scythe, now Aeon, caught out, lassoed up, and brought down. Just off on his own, but it may have been intentional here. I think Scythe may have... That was a space-creating death. Next level strats? Next level strats? I think it is. The familiars come through, but it's too late. It's an Aegis down, unless they can snipe it. The familiar stun, but a BKB comes out. The Aegis goes to the Slardar. The cheese hits the deck. They're just leaving it here. The Bane thinks about it. I think it just got denied by a familiar. Yeah, it looks like that cheese got denied, but they got the Aegis. That's what really matters. Yeesh. So... I mean, hard to say for sure if that was intentional, but That really looked like, okay, Mirana, you go feed top, and then we'll just take Roche. And that's exactly what they did. If it wasn't part of the plan, then, well, I recommend that Aeon take that to his grave and just say, yeah, I meant to do that. More impressive that way. And God said, let there be 3 Scythes. And on that third and final day, let's have a climactic team fight. I wouldn't complain if I had one. I'm itching to see all these big items actually get used. Just, I'll tab you real quick to make sure the stream is not dead, because my stream did crash. But they go into Miracle now, they lasso him up. He got his BKB off in time, but no BKB now. Might not be able to take this fight anymore. He's a bit reliant on that, but the Blink Crush comes in. Nicely dodged. By your gyro, they use another Scythe of Miracle. Are there any left? We're going to find out in a matter of seconds. Now everybody retreats. There's another Crush soon. Slardar, the one with the Aegis, the one who should be tanking the shots in the front lines. They shotgun Miracle, but Refraction keeps him alive through it all. And in the midst of the chaos, Sharky disconnects, and we have ourselves a pause. What an unfortunate time to DC for both teams. Very unfortunate. He'll reconnect. No, they'll have 2 more disconnects. I'm guessing they're probably on land together, at least a few of them. Although, Sharky should be in Malaysia, and Ysera and the other 2 new guys should be in Singapore, I believe. I know at least Insidious C is from Singapore, so maybe they're not on land, but they're all disconnecting. Now they all reconnect. Okay, so let's try and take stock of this fight real quickly. Mirana, BKB, up for, it's a fresh 10-second BKB. She'll have this for a while. There's no lasso here. There's really not much they can do to the Mirana. The gyro's already been amped, so they know where he is. Fiend's Grip was used. Slardar still has Aegis. BKB is cooling on 30 seconds. And they have Hookshot. Yeah, Orange are going to have, with no Scythes, I believe. No, they've got 1 left on the Chen. Clearly I have my rares here on Orange. Oh, Miracle speaking a bit too soon. But he is going to reconnect now. So yeah, this does not look good for Orange. Still an Aegis online. The one X Factor is going to be the buybacks. And Boots of Travel buyback on TA. Boots of Travel buyback on Bat Rider. Nope, Bat Rider doesn't have it. And on Invoker. But no Scythe, no E-Blade. Oh no. Steam logon errors. This game was shaping up to be pretty epic, too. 60 minutes in. It's only 21-21. It's all control versus just pure deeps. I think this fight should go Scythe's way. If I had to bet money on it, I would say like 80-20 they're going to take this fight. Like, somebody's going to die to this Mirana, because she's just going to purge. Slardar's going to Blink Crush in about 3 seconds. Unless they're able to damage him and prevent it. And then that's 1 dead, and maybe the rest of Orange fall. Well, that's assuming we get to see the fight. Guys, if you're just joining us, and I saw at least one guy said, who is this noob caster? I'm LDB on the Summit. If you do enjoy my casting, you can follow me at twitter.com/LDDota. I'll be giving away probably a few Dota TV tickets via my Twitter, and maybe 1 or 2 via the Beyond the Summit Twitter, which is twitter.com/BeyondTheSummit. So be sure to follow and support if you enjoy. It's great to be back casting Southeast Asian Dota, and hopefully I'll get to have my friend Winter joining me for some of these casts in the future. At least the games he's not playing. But for now, we're just casting him. Watching the master at work. I feel pretty bad for him. I mean, if he goes on to lose this game, he did have a really facepalm-worthy first blood, but he's played super well since then, and it just seems like it might not matter. Well, just not a whole lot else to say right now, guys. I'm just waiting to see if they reconnect. No. They're going the wrong way here. Scythe have gotten all their players back inside the game, though. And slowly they return. 2 more back into the fold. Maybe your Visage next. Nope. I jinxed it. Damn it. I really want to see this fight. I have a feeling Miracle's about to get himself an ultra kill here. Well, let's see what's going on right now. Oh, Gods has returned. He's coming back to civilization. And for those who don't know, I know a lot of you have been asking, where in the world is Gods? Well, Gods took a break to see his family, spend some time in Australia after a very busy period from like August up until end of November, beginning of December. And he is finally on his way back. He'll be back here in the States, in the Beyond the Summit studio in Los Angeles, March 3rd. So we're very close to finishing our new main studio. The one you've been seeing is our secondary studio. We'll use it for a lot of regular content, but for the larger shows, we do have something special planned. It's not quite TV6, but I think it looks cool. So I'm excited to share that with you guys. Excited to get back to casting all the time. We do have a lot of content coming up in March. I'm not sure what I'm allowed to announce, but I mean, everyone already knows we're casting Starladder. 4 different divisions. Korea, China. I wish Southeast Asia was a part of that, combined with Korea, but it is only Korea, unfortunately. No Zephyr. It's still going to be cool, though. And, of course, North America and Europe. So the LAN finals for this Starladder are going to be... I mean, really, I view it as like the first truly global league. I mean, you've got leagues like the Joint Dota League that are global, but there's no LAN finals, right? And it's more of like to develop amateur teams, get them something to strive for. But with Starladder, this is going to be a global league that leads to an epic LAN finals. And a recurring league as well, something that we could expect to see 3-4 times a year. So very excited to be a part of that, excited to get back to it, and excited to watch some Dota. Volvo, please. I guess Unify is the Malaysian ISP, or the Singaporean ISP, and not treating the guys too kindly here. No, I'm just gonna start. Checking shit out. That's kind of cool. There's these little ones floating, though. Alright. Let's see. Let's showcase view this. Pray, don't DC. Alright, here we go. The epic climactic conclusion. Mirana's gonna jump in. Not using the diffusal blade here to slow somebody down. Not really happy to see that, but we'll leap forward. And now isolates Ysera. The BKB keeping him able to chase for now. And Sardar's finally back on the move. While that's happening, there's a hook shot. They've isolated 2. Make it 3. Chen to fall. Visage should be next. Hana, though, for the time being, take a decent amount of damage. That will be 3 down. Not all of them have buyback here. Invoker does. Chen does. And Visage does not. So 2 out of the 3 have it. But I think they need all 5. They need all of their hexes online. And apparently everyone just witnessed a multi-kill a solid 3-4 minutes late. Well, 30 seconds late. I'm just exaggerating because I'm salty at this point. Salty with all the pauses. I feel bad for both teams about that, but hey, I don't think Orange had much of a chance anyway there. Nice BKB. There'll be a Manta here as well. And the Gyro's going to remove that amplified damage. They'll look to turn it around. Miracle tanking through the Meteor, the Deafening Blast, but another crush. Palasson, too tanky. A force forward into the cogs, and now it's really up to Miracle. He gets Scythe though. Now he's taking good damage. Another hookshot comes from Hana. But while this is happening, well, Palason's going to crush, but it's really off the mark here. They do take one lane of Rex. Finally, the base is broken. Do they continue the fight? They manage to kill off the missile. They retreat. Winter leaps forward. He's got no lasso here, and the turnaround could come. Miracle cleaving through 1, cleaning up 2, looking for 3, as Insidious C will fall pretty low. They grip Winter. They can't finish him, but he will be next. A blink, a crush, a kill, and Orange are completely overwhelmed. 2 dead, make it a triple, and Miracle just cruises to victory here. 62 minutes in. A lot of that pauses as well, so really more like 70 or 80. But in the end, a great mid-game performance from Winter, and a great early-game performance from Ysera's Invoker, but an even better late-game showing from Scythe. They outfarmed them. They had the Tricore when it came to late game. And when it was all said and done, they walk away with a Game 1 victory. Last time they faced Orange, they took them down 2-1. And we're going to have to see if they can do it again, or maybe even make it 2-0. And Dota is groaning under the strain of such a long and strenuous game. Well, guys, that is going to wrap up game number 1. This is a best of 3, though. If you're just joining us, it is, of course, the ACG SEA Best of the Best tournament brought to you by Beyond the Summit. I'm LD, your host. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll return with game 2. Orange now trailing in the best of 3. 0-1. Can they bounce back? Let's see.